real quick, let's go over the patch notes. Design goals, reduce the power of Stell, particularly in the early game with cards like Runabout and late game with Hanger. Cool. I think these are the two main outliers that I'm worried about with Stell. There's some other stuff that's a bit silly early on, like Ball Blaster's probably a bit too good early. It's probably a little bit too easy still to get a Balloon Engine board together early, but those are at least more beatable than Runabout. Reduce the power level of out-of-combat scaling items, like Money Tree and the cards that enable it. Sure. Make the strongest enchants with the biggest immediate impact rarer, primarily Obsidian and Shielded. Well, definitely Obsidian, because they're a culprit in making otherwise safe items into a problem. Sure. Improving the numbers on existing items that are not seeing much play, so that they feel more viable. Okay. So, they say like Money Tree on the cards that enable it. I'm curious if they do more than just Money Tree, because I feel like Money Tree is the only one that matters right now. It just scales so well with value and gives itself so much value. Like, I don't know if the issue is out of scaling or out of combat scaling items so much as particularly the numbers on Money Tree are absurd. Enchantments. Continue to clean up, do balance pass on enchants, added golden enchants, adjusted deadly enchants. Obsidian is rarer. Very rare in level up options or fates. No longer on Isla. So the main way you're going to get Obsidian enchant is through Temple now. And then these changes down here make Temple a bit less good. Selling a large legendary gets you 32 instead of 50, and if you sell for an enchant, you get 0. You still get a lot of gold out of Temple, but now it's like 50 instead of 100. Not quite infinite money anymore. Obstacle course no longer spawns for Stell. I don't know what event this is. Prospero, now gold tier. This is the econ vendor? Okay. Regenerative tincture. Now gives regen equal to twice your level. Is that doubling tincture? Interesting. I mean, it wasn't a very good event, but like I feel like this makes it better in the situations where it was already clickable. Like in the later game where shops aren't really doing anything for you anymore. I don't know. Not a huge change, but might be big early on actually. What is this, like day 3? Give you 6 regen for a event click? It's like a big bite. Because it stacks with big bite. You can get this and the big bite. Dire Mosquito, health to 1500 was 1700. I'm still too scared to ever click on this, but okay. Regen skills no longer boost the output of items that give you permanent regen outside of combat. Okay, this was silly. I'm glad this is finally changing. This does make all of these items kind of unpickable if they don't get buffed, though. Like, this was kind of the reason to buy at least Lunchbox and Sifting Pan. Tome's base numbers are maybe high enough that you still want to pick it up sometimes, but yeah, I'm curious if we get a numbers pass on these lower down in the patch notes. Free loot item events get scrapped extract should no longer appear on heroes that don't generally use that output. Oh, cool. So no more poison loot on Pig. You'll get a more real loot item there. I wonder if this is going to be replaced specifically with loot item events, or if you're going to get other slot 3 events instead as well. I would imagine this just gets removed from the pool of all of the slot 3 events. So like on Pig, you're more likely to get a random item event. Not sure how much that matters. Slot 3 is generally the... I guess it means you might get more temp boosts. But yeah, not a huge deal. Fixed Hattie's Wheel infinite spin bug. Cool. Players can now access settings from collection plus chest opening screen, sped up time between experience shard hitting the player portrait and the game continuing. Chest opening should no longer display the most recent season chest asset when opening previous seasons, and a new loading screen. Temp slot 2 and shield is 3. I think temp life is 2, temp shield is 3, yeah. I know relax is a slot 3 node. Which is kind of weird, considering most slot 3 nodes are just like a little bit of free value. I'm not really sure why Relax is a slot 3 node. It's supposed to be tried out when I'm done reading the patch notes. I'll know when I finish reading the patch notes. Probably Stell. Apothecary, cooldown to 5 from 6. Still just unplayable after the ICD changes. Atmospheric Sampler now only charges items that were not the original trigger. Sure. I don't think this really does very much, but people were really salty about losing to the single item boards with Atmospheric Sampler. On rare occasion, you get shops in both the left and right slots. Yeah, sometimes the left slot, or sometimes the right slot is able to contain a shop. I'm not really sure why. Just like has a rare chance of rolling a shop. Black Rose, cooldown to 7, regen scaling 2, 3, 4. So what is this? Every time you poison, it gains regen? Sure. Boiling Flask, cooldown changed to 12, 11, 10. That's an interesting change. If you've got extra ammo, it doesn't matter at all. It does mean you need 4 ammo for Flying Potion instead of 3. It still lines up perfectly with a 1 ammo Explosive Potion. Or Bottled Lightning, whatever it's called. That's an interesting nerf to Boiling Flask. I don't know if that does much, but it's interesting. Cauldron, Poison and Burn changed to 2, 3, 4 per type. Was 1, 2, 3. Sure. Raven, damage changed to 80, 20, 160. Was 60, 80, 100. More damage at gold. It does fly. It plays kind of well with Carpet and Aurelie. Death Cap's poison scaling, whatever. Emerald. The poison on it goes up, but the buff goes down by 1. That's rough. It's probably still good. Like, Emerald is already worse than Ruby. I imagine Ruby's also getting nerfed if Emerald's getting nerfed. Emerald Aladel is still probably a really good day 1. Oil Lantern, cooldown to 8 was 10, 9, 8. So now it just always has the low cooldown from Diamond. And the burn goes up with levels. Oh, so Silver Oil Lantern is what Diamond Oil Lantern was. Fair enough. I think I've put Oil Lantern on my board like once or twice when I had regen looping stuff going. They already hotfixed? Yeah, there was a hotfix. I'm not sure exactly what it changed. I think it was just some minor bug fixes mostly. Ruby cooldown to 7 was 10. Burn 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, the burn on it went down? Wait. The burn on Ruby goes down, the cooldown goes up, and they also nerf the burn buff. What? At least this one got the poison buffed. That's crazy. Runic double bow. Cooldown to 6 was 7. Damage very slightly up. I can just make the numbers cleaner. What were these numbers? 25, 35, 45? Secret formula, cooldown down slightly, sure. Sifting pan, no gains added to it. Yeah. It just doesn't work with regen skills anymore. Yeah. I don't know, I guess regen skills were a little bit too impactful, and the interaction was a bit too unintuitive. That was like half the reason that I wanted to click on regen skills, though. Viper Cane, poison, and regen scaling up. Sure. I feel like the issue with this item is not that the scaling wasn't enough, it's just that it's too slow for what it does. Weaselpede freeze duration to 1 second, but the cooldown goes down with upgrades. Interesting. It's you kind of fast freezes. Huh. Alpha Ray, cooldown to 6, was 7. Arc Blaster, damage down slightly at the lower tiers and Oh no, damage down slightly everywhere. Cooldown to 6. Cool. Barbed wire changed to slow 2 items for 1 second instead of 1 item for. Wait, so how does this upgrade now? I need to just have Bazaar DB up. Barbed wire. The damage goes up. Okay. 20, 30, 40, 50. It's like not the worst curio buff target if you're shielding a lot. Battery ammo to 5. Okay. Sure. I don't think ammo has been my problem with battery boards a single time for the last month, but I guess that's a buff. Ballista damage to 50 was 40. When you haste, it gains some damage. Gains some more damage. Plus 5 at silver, plus 10 at diamond. I don't know, maybe? Last time I played Ballista, it just scales so slow. This is what, 25% more scaling? Maybe. Beta ray cooldown to. This got hotfix back, right? This is nonsense. That's not a real change. Bulldozer changed to when you use another friend. This gains 35, 70 damage for the fight. Your other friend's cooldowns reduced by 15, 25. Hotfix undid. Okay. Good change. Good change. Other friends' cooldowns are reduced by 15, 25%. Yeah, I've been struggling to justify putting Bulldozer on my board. I'm still probably not going to want to play it at gold. Maybe at diamond, it can be a win con. Maybe. Like, the board used to be Bulldozer, Race Carl, Companion Core, Metronome, Ballista. It's just kind of hard to get all that together nowadays. Bulldozer's a gold, Ballista's a gold. Like, it was hard to get together before, too. And it was really upgrade hungry. I don't know, maybe that board's back. Chemsnail, cooldown to 8 was 6. Changed to when you slow, charge this 2 seconds. Wow. I mean, it was really bad before. Now, I guess it's not as bad. How much poison does this thing put out? 10? Oh, wait, cooldown to 8 was 6. I read this backwards. Okay. Okay, never mind. It's just pufferfish for slows. And Dooley doesn't have a great way of spamming slows other than the Plasminade. Chemsnail and Hamlet switched. Yeah, it's got the Hamlet problem, I guess. Chris Army Knife, damage and shield to 20 was 15. Sure. Cog, haste duration, 2, 3, 4. Whoa, I was not expecting a cog buff. It makes sense considering Dooley's other items do 2 seconds of haste to an item at silver. Cog just had the benefit of not being a tech item, which I guess hasn't mattered this patch. It mattered a lot when you were playing Crude Tools. But that niche is gone now. This makes getting the cog drop on other characters a lot better. Like, 2 seconds haste is... 2 seconds haste on a 4 second small is a pretty playable item on a lot of pig boards. We switched Hamlet to 6 second CD, charge 1 on slow. Oh, well, we'll get to that. LEDs, cooldown to 5, was 6, sure. Copper red. This is a strong day 1 item. What? Huh. Crane. Damage to 150, 300. This doesn't change anything about Crane. I guess having more base damage at diamond is cool. It's still just, like, not playable at gold, right? Cybersecurity, 50, 75 for each other weapon and tech you have. Deals triple damage if it's your only friend. Whoa, wait. Oh, but there's no obsidian anymore. Yeah, okay. Okay. Was Crane ever playable at gold? No, that's always been the problem with Crane, is you just can't play it at gold. When you got your gold to diamond upgrade faster, like months ago, you could sometimes pick it up on spec. But it just takes so long to get it to diamond that it's hard to justify. It's kind of the same problem that Dualtron has. Defense matrix. Cooldown to 5. Was 4. Base duration. 1, 2, 3. So what, it's worse at silver, better at gold and diamond? Kind of? Kind of? Really? It's so important that your haste item activates early. Ugh. But yeah, I guess the duration's worth it. Yeah. For what it's worth, haste isn't really the reason why you were playing Defense Matrix on the boards that you were playing Defense Matrix. Dino Saddle is no longer a property. It is crazy that it was to begin with. Flamethrower damage 1020 was 2. That helps justify picking it up. What's the cooldown on it? It's still a really long cooldown, right? 7 to 5. I didn't realize it wasn't the silver item anymore. This thing is moved around its tiers so much. Forklift, 150, 250, sure. Gamma ray cooldown to 6. Oh, so they just like changed all of the rays and didn't realize the implications of beta ray going to 6. Fair enough. Hamlet cooldown to 6 was 10. Changed to when you slow, charge this 1. Sure. It's like kind of the same item. Every board that wants it is going to be roughly the same speed with it. Hover tech. Flying targets to 2, 3, 4. Is this the one that gives crit? Yeah, if you crit with a flying item, it stops flying, but your flying items have crit chance. It's an interesting way to build up crit. A 6-second beta ray is so much more significant because beta ray was like a top tier item for Dually. Even at 7 seconds, beta ray is great. Ice 9000. Poison scaling to 1530. Sure. Induction Aegis burned to 5 was 2. Still not enough to stack on its own. Still very slow. This is less exciting than the Copper Red change. Isocoric Freezer. Cooldown goes down with upgrades. So the silver version's just better than it was? Interesting. I do like Duali's utility items getting buffed. Laser pistol, damage 15, 30, 45, 60. Sure. Microdave. So Microdave becomes a matchbox. A 4-second matchbox at medium. It's still just bad launchpad, right? But it's bronze, so you can like hedge Microdave if you don't find the launchpad. This is also a better core trigger, if that's something that you care about. It's really upgrade hungry, though. Missiles. Change to when you use a core. This gains 10, 20, 30 damage for the fight, and reload it. Oh. So launcher core is best friend? Holy shit. That launchpad, unless it matters that it's actually activating and can crit. It can crit, but it's like a quarter of the speed of launchpad, so I wouldn't really count that as a plus. So an out of Dave pretty early. I mean, if you do want out of Dave pretty early, then this buff is a nerf. Because like it's only really much better when you're getting it to like gold or diamond. Or at least the buff is a side grade. Because it's silver. 6 for 5. 3 burn for 2-second cooldown. Yeah, this is huge for launcher core. Great for companion core too. Just like any of the fast cores that wanted to be playing missiles already. I play this thing a lot. Like I'm surprised this is getting a buff. Not that it's not welcome, but I am a little surprised. Monitor Lizard, Poison Scaling, 5, 10, 15. That's my take on hero balance right now. Like, after the patch, I'm halfway through the patch notes. Monitor Lizard. Haste this for 1 second. When this is hasted, Poison 5, 10, 15. Um, is it cracked now? I feel like it's just not that easy to get a ton of hastes on Lizard. And it's still poison. Omega Ray cooldown to 6. Cool. Pierre freeze targets up. So the gold one is what the diamond one was. Plasma rifle cooldown to 6. This thing doesn't charge anymore though, right? They changed that last patch. Yeah, just when you burn, gain 75 damage. Goes down to 3 CD at diamond. Sure, but like a diamond item that poisons for 15 is not exciting. Like compare the amount of poison output on Monitor Lizard to the amount of poison output on like Poison Idol. And Poison Idol falls off without an enchant. Power Sander. No longer slows? Wait. Oh no, it still does. It's just oh, it just has better haste at the lower tiers. Oh, Bronze Power Sander's kind of sick. Just 5-second cooldown. Have pretty good haste uptime. Interesting. Propeller Hat. Fix an issue where this can only make one core fly at a time. Sure. Pylon. Slow targets upgrades. That's a good change. Gets you a lot more haste. It was weird to me that the duration went up on the slow here instead of the targets. Oh, but the haste number doesn't go up with upgrades. So it still needs a rocket boots. Just like trade one problem for another problem. Rocket boots is a harder problem to solve. It's so hard to get rocket boots. Pyrocarbon haste duration changed to 1.5, 2 seconds. Was 1 at all tiers. Sure. Railgun damage up. Damage up. Quest requires 8 tech. What is the text on Railgun? At multicast when you buy 8 tech items. The problem is, like, all of these flat damage items are indirectly nerfed so hard by Obsidian being harder to get. Like, it's the same problem that cybersecurity has, where this is on paper a pretty big buff. The games where cybersecurity is playable are the games where you get Obsidian on it. I imagine it's the same thing with Railgun. Rec specs. Scaling to 80, 160. Was 60, 120. Fair. I never see any rec specs in play. Rocket launcher. Burn gets better with tiers. Sure. I guess I'm a little bit more incentivized to use my level 3 upgrade on rocket launcher. A little bit. Satcom haste duration to 1234 was bugged as 2225. Interesting. Patches a buff to builds that don't need obsidian. Yeah. Fixed an issue with the obsidian variant triggering on crit instead of use. The core. Ooh. We got our cooldown back on the core. Interesting. Thermalance burn to 6 was 5. And the burn scaling goes up. Cool. cool, I guess. It's just like the third or fourth best thing to do when you find a metronome, is the problem I have with Thermalance. Pulse Rifle continues to ping pong between being a tech and not being a tech. Cooldown to 5. It no longer. What are we doing? I guess the previous experiment was a failure. This poor item. They just don't know what to do with it. Oh, and they get the damage scaling back. Cool. Unstable Gravwell activates a bit faster now. Sure. Welding Torch activates a bit faster. Z-Shield no longer scales its freeze duration, but its cooldown goes down with upgrades. Z-Sword no longer scales its burn, but its cooldown goes down. Is this even a buff? I'm pretty sure this one's a nerf. This is at least a buff at silver, but you're not playing very many silver Z-Shields. I don't know. Most of the time I'm playing these items, I'm just playing them for the CDR anyway, but strange change. Corrected an issue where Obsidian Atlas Stone tripled its damage output on use. Huh. Balcony is now a gold. Good change. Brass Knuckles. Cooldown starts at 9, goes down with tears, but the damage doesn't go up naturally. Cargo Shorts fixed an issue where this counted items in stash from multicast of its own tags. Surprised that's the only change to Cargo Shorts. Interesting. They just fixed the bug. Cash Cannon starts at 50 damage instead of 1. Okay, that makes it a lot better. Now it's like sort of doing something on day 1 at least. It still scales too slow to really be exciting, I think, but at least now you can justify buying it. Cold Room starts at silver. Okay, cooldown to 6. Freeze targets still scales. When you use an adjacent tool or property, charge this. Instead of when the enemy uses an item. So it's not a Caltrops anymore. When you freeze, gain regen. So it's like easier to do freeze loops with this than it was the old one. I dislike the design of this a lot. I kind of liked the old Cold Room because it was like the more you were freezing your opponent, the less Cold Room was doing. Like the more you have them locked down, the less you're charging your freeze item. So it was kind of like self-policing in a way. This one's just like, how do I maximize adjacent activations to keep my opponent frozen as much as possible? I don't like this at all. Ew. Granted, the Cold Room that was in the last patch was also just like not good, but I don't know why we're completely redesigning Cold Room. Dog. Second to nerf at all tiers, and slightly longer to quest. This is probably enough. A 1 second nerf is pretty big. And this probably slows down the quest by like a full day. Fixer Upper cooldown to 4 was 5. That's fair enough. No one was really playing Fixer Upper. It is a bit strange how the goal of the patch was to make out-of-scaling combat items worse. And we're buffing Fixer Upper, but Fixer Upper is back. For what it's worth, when Fixer Upper was good before, it was 3 seconds. Grindstone. Cooldown to 3 was 4. If the weapon to the left has a cooldown over 5 seconds, this has +1 multicast. That's a lot of buffs. Huh. Wait, so if you Ring King Gauntlets with Grindstone... Wait. I guess you're not getting the multicast on the second activation of Grindstone before the Ring King goes off? But you've got 20-30 on your Ring King? Oh, yeah, you can Atlas too. Ooh. Interesting. Hot Stones cooldown to 4. Lottle also. Yeah, I don't know if this is good enough at getting at Lottle fast, though. I guess it is cooldown 3 even when it stops multicasting. Maybe it is. I don't know. Equivalent to 4 was 6. Burn 2, 4, 6, 8. So the burn goes down, the regen goes down, but the output happens faster. So it's a better matchbox item. So it at least has a niche now. The scaling on this regen didn't make any sense. The second multicast to the second grindstone activation will go off. Oh, true. So you get half of the output. Yeah, this is a interesting buff for sure. Investment pitch events. Appreciated value. Give your items plus 10 value, not including the stash, instead of doubling the value of your leftmost item. Huh. Well, that's a good change. This was just an absurd high roll when you had this with the property build. This is still a lot of money, but you're probably just going to take 4 XP most of the time. Like, if you can put in 10 smalls that you don't care about, that's 100 gold. But, 4 XP. Jabalian Drum, haste duration changed to 2 seconds, damage changed to 510. Was 6-9. Sure, I mean, Yo-Yo is still gold only. Keychain, corrected enchantments to only target active items. Drum didn't need that buff. I mean, the only time that I ever really put Drum on my board is when I was doing dog stuff, and Drum was just like a bad cloak. It's so much harder to get a Drum board together than it used to be. Like, the good items are all gold. The Drum itself is gold. Unless you're questing a dog. Like, by the time Drum starts showing up, Drum's, like, kind of falling off. Maybe the haste duration changes that, but, like, gold Drum felt bad. Corrected enchantments to only target active items. Landscraper, cooldown to 5. A t-shirt with no collar? No, there's a collar. It's just not super visible. Luxury tents. Sure. I mean, this is a silly amount of flavor text for an item that's just giving you multicast, but this is still really powerful. I guess just a little bit less egregious when you're dealing with really high health pigs. Model ship starts at silver. Cooldown goes down with upgrades now. Interesting. This makes it quite a bit better with 28-hour fitness. It's not really going to be your upgrade target, but sometimes just incidentally upgrading it with bootstraps, or you find it in shops. Money tree, cooldown to 5. Was 4. Yeah, good change. That's probably all they have to do. This is These 1-second nerfs are a lot bigger than people give them credit for initially. This is a 25% nerf to the output of Money Tree. That's huge. Pickles launcher, cooldown to 7 was 8. Yeah, fair enough. Without Yo-Yo at bronze, it's really hard to justify playing Pickles launcher right now. Regal Blade, quest requirements down. Third quest now scales damage based on all items value instead of just properties. Ooh. What was that about wanting to nerf out of combat scaling? What can you do with this? Yeah, Abacus can go crazy. You still have to buy properties. Yeah, you gotta buy 8 properties. But now you don't have to play properties. Billboard. You can billboard. How much damage does it get? It's just plus damage equal to the value of your items. Oh, it's a 7-second cooldown at Diamond, though? I thought it was a little faster than that. Yeah. Like, it's kind of just like bad skyscraper, right? I guess you get value on some other things too. It's so slow. Never mind. It's cooler than it was, for sure. It's at least interesting. Slingshot starts at 2 ammo instead of 1. A little easier to play on day 1. Does it open any lines? It might. I don't know. I guess it gives you a hedge if you don't find the skyscraper. I just don't know that it's going to be good enough, considering how often skyscraper is also not good enough. And skyscraper gets so much more damage. Okay. Get cooldown reduction on spiky shield, so it can actually line up with Silk now. Considering this item just didn't have anything to do before, this is a cool change. Textiles change to when you heal with an item, charge an adjacent non-healing item 1 second instead of both. I've played a lot of boards where the difference here does not matter. I think most of my textiles boards, the difference here does not matter. Huh. Fair change, I guess. It kind of bricks the keychain cargo shorts infinites, maybe? You can't go, like, Atlas Stone, textiles, keychain, cargo shorts, because you're splitting the charges. Truffles, lowered enchant numbers could change. Duskhelm. Cooldown goes down at higher tiers. Cooldown's down at bronze. Damage and shield is just 10 at all. Other inspired the nerf to truffles. I mean, I didn't really play very many enchanted truffles. I played a lot of truffles, but I rarely kept the pitchfork around long enough to enchant it. Vineyard cooldown to 5, and then VIP pass. Use a slow item with 20 slow duration. Oh, sure. Sure. Cooldown changed to 5 was 7. Ace duration, 2 at all tiers. Value increase changed to 4, 6, 8, but only for the current fight. So there's no more incentive to VIP pass and draw fights out. Good change. Good change. I wish they made this change months ago, but good change. This item was nonsense. Stell. Firecrackers. Ammo to 5. Sure. Bug fix on flare gun. Flashbang. Slow duration down slightly. Hanger is now a diamond item, so you're not going to see it most games. That's a big nerf to Stell late game. There's a lot of late game comps for Stell that are leaning hard on Hanger. What are the late game comps for Stell that aren't leaning on Hanger? Are there any? Space Laser? I guess? I so rarely see Space Lasers come together. But maybe it's just what you have to aim for now. Radar Dome pill buggy stuff. Maybe. There's Stell's Workshop. Stell's Workshop feels like a comp that you don't really want to be playing after day 12, 13, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I guess everything's going to feel a little bit different without Obsidian running around, too. You can maybe afford to have a little bit less damage. Quest goal, increased to 10 on hammer, sure. Headset corrected an issue where several of this item's enchants triggered on stops flying. Hydraulic squeezer correctly charges all flying items, cool. Lava roller adjusted effect ordering so destroy happens before the burn. This also corrected an issue where Grabinator would not buff lava roller. Cooldown to 9-7. There's still Obsidian from Temple. Yeah, but it should be rarer. Like, you still can get Obsidian from level ups, but it's rarer, whatever that means. If it means you see half as many Obsidians, that's still half as many Obsidians that you have to deal with. Launch tower, first time you use an item, your vehicle start flying. So no more full flying at 0 seconds for your runabout. The runabout also changed down here. Lightning Rod corrected an issue where the enemy and player's triggers are on different internal cooldowns. Oh. Lunchbox. Sure. Polisher needs 150 items to fly. What is 99? I mean, it slows down the Polisher by a day. I already only really wanted to buy Polisher when I was doing uh freefall simulator stuff. Now I really only want to buy Polisher when I'm doing freefall simulator stuff. Few items are useless unless you're one champ. It's not even unless you're one champ. It feels like unless you're playing one specific item. Like, maybe you can keep a freefall on your bench to try to quest the Orbital Polisher, but it's just the worst gameplay around this thing. It's the same issue that VIP Pass has. Or, well, had. Where you just want to slow down the PvE fight as much as possible to get as many fly triggers out of every PvE fight so that you can get your shiny faster. I would rather them just change this quest completely. Oxygen Mask, regen 3, 6, 9, 12. Was 2, 4, 6, 8. Sure. Oxygen tank, healing to a slightly higher amount per vehicle. Private runabouts, cooldown 10, 9, 8. So what? If you're playing runabout and 7 smalls, you cannot get runabout to 1 second at silver. Hey, yesp. I guess you get Ornithopter. You still can. But usually you're wanting to play other mediums to get your flying. Like Flare Gun, Ornithopter can do it. And the damage is a flat 100. That's... Definitely a nerf. Probably enough. Should be enough. I'm a bit worried about this. Because, like, even just a 3-second multicast thing with 100 damage on it seems kind of spooky on day 3, day 4. And you've got time to build it out. Once you get it to gold, you can get it to 1 second. I guess you're never really able to play Launch Tower plus Runabout. Rivet Gun, cooldown up, self-charge to 2. Sure. I mean, Rivet was good. I didn't have a huge problem with Rivet. We're nerfing Rivet and not Ornithopter? Wait, what? Okay. Sandbag's cooldown to 5 was 4. Now causes 2, 3, 4 vehicles to start flying. Was 1. When a vehicle starts flying, charge it for 2 seconds. Fuck Ornithopter, right? This is just the craziest nerf. Like, it's not that Rivet Gun was bad. It's just... This is the support item we're nerfing? Rivet Gun? No, vehicles. So you no longer need to upgrade sandbags for it to do something. I've never played a sandbags board. I think this is a buff, but I don't actually know. It's a buff at silver for sure. And just one less piece of upgrade debt because it's not as important to upgrade. Something's a typo. It only charges 1 at all tiers. Oh, yeah. According to Bazaar DB. Never mind then. This is a jumbo nerf to sandbags. That makes way more sense. Siren cooldown. That's backwards, right? Nope. It is not backwards. What are we doing? Why does this item make no sense? What is it about Siren specifically? Why it has to be the most nonsensical item in the entire game? Can we just have this... Can we just have this make sense for once? Because it has more targets on upgrades. Okay. Then, like, don't change the cooldown. Why are we making... Oh my god. It's the dev There's no way. This is intentional? Like, it would be crazy if it went from 765 while also upgrading the tiers. But why are we changing the cooldown at all? Why are we scared of Siren? Low Roller's an item on this character. Why is Low Roller okay? It's a buff to early Siren and 0 change to late. Sure. I wasn't really putting Sirens on my board in general, but sure. Solar Drone, no longer a vehicle. Cooldown to 7, was 8. Solar Drone's the small. The shield goes up when you burn. Squirrel Suit, 10, 15, 20 regen, was 6, 8, 10. You use an adjacent item that starts flying. When this starts flying, gain 10, 15, 20 regen for the fight. Every 6 seconds, it stops flying. So it's still just kind of a bad parachute, right? Not that being a bad parachute is an indictment against it. There's nothing wrong with being a bad parachute. Parachute's a hell of an item, but nothing that the character doesn't already do. The big one, 40 to 50% of max health. Big one is Keg now. It can't crit, right? When this is destroyed, deal damage. Yeah, because it's outside of the cooldown. So if you can get Obsidian on it, which is harder than it used to be. But whatever. I think I have seen a single the big one in all of my time playing. For skydiving. I mean, I personally wouldn't go skydiving with a squirrel suit, but some people like that. They like the thrill. Wrecking Ball, cooldown to 20, was 22, sure. The big thing that was making Wrecking Ball crazy was the shiny free fall simulator stuff that you can't really do anymore. Vanessa Anchor, haste duration changed to just 2, was 2-4. I didn't know that haste duration went up when you upgraded this. Cooldown to 12-10 was 13. So basically just a buff. Interesting. But like Obsidian was so much of what made the like anchor stuff good. How much does it do at Diamond? It's like 30%. Yeah, 30% of the enemy's max health. Mm-hmm. I mean, it does make the like high crit shipwreck board better. I don't know. The board just never comes together. Blowgun, cooldown 8-6 was 9. Or Butterfly Swords, cooldown down. Cyber Psy, cooldown to 3. Damage damage halved at all tiers. But 1 second more invulnerability at each tier. I mean, being a 3-second cooldown is something. It's just 1 proc, right? Oh no, this is number of procs. Okay. 5-second invuln on Nessa is crazy. Maybe. I don't know. Shadow Cloak full crit. The problem is some of these crits are going to get wasted early if you're making it fast. Invulnerability is a lot of invulnerability. Yeah, it's just you don't have control over when it's happening. Like, part of what made Invulnerability Potion so good is it triggered after your opponent's damage output started. This is just, like, on a schedule. Unless you know you're killing your opponent when the invulnerability is ending, it's just so easy for this to not line up well and not really do anything. And, like, what's playing this? Julian? Are you playing Cyber Psy instead of Katana? I guess in addition to Katana? Julian's still kind of a thing. Dark Water Angler. Cooldown decreases with tears. Interesting. Eels. Damage to 100 was 50. We're just doubling the eels base damage. Isn't this like an insane item to buy at silver now? Huh. This probably doesn't impact the like late game playability of eels much, but it does give it an early mid game niche. Hydra Dude's a mosquito now. Yeah, that fight's pretty scary. Flagship. Damage to 50, but the cooldown goes down. Interesting. Sarigama, cooldown to 5, but no longer slows, but the scaling goes up. So you can't play this next to... I think half the games that I've played Kusarigama, I've just played it as a slow item for the other slow tech ammo thing. So I can't do that with it anymore. But if you're just playing this as your scaling payoff, it's probably better. It was a pretty nice number of slows as you upgraded it. But I mean, bigger numbers. I like bigger numbers. Hey, Shrimp back to 9. Richardson back to 6. Saltclaw back to 6. Welcome changes. Julian starts at silver, and the cooldown is up at all tiers. So it caps out at 9 seconds instead of 8 seconds at diamond. The bigger thing is just you have to buy it a little bit later. I guess the other big thing is the temple relics are selling for less, so you can't even just use temple to fix everything. Like, even if you get obsidian for Julian, you're missing out on 50 gold because of this. You could still, like, stack an early cove and try to find a Julian. I don't know. Puffer, same treatment as the anglerfish. Last time Puffer had this text, it was pretty broken, right? We're probably past the point where this is a problem, but that is a little scary. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing with it. It's a better Tortuga trigger, but it's so hard to be in Tortuga. You're not getting obsidian on it much anymore. Sea Dog Saloon. Cooldown 5-4 was 6-5. A lot easier to buy at 5 than 6. At least it still lines up with the Richardson Saltclaw. I feel like on day 6 it's still just a little bit too slow, but we'll see. Hopefully other stuff is slowing down to you. Maybe it's okay. Stealth Glider's back. Submarine goes to a 2-second cooldown at diamond is interesting. No longer gets the damage on upgrades, so you gotta scale it in other ways. What are you doing on Vanessa to scale this? Don't say Julian. It's just like the same things that you're using to scale the ammo stuff, but it's way better to scale the ammo stuff and kill your opponent. Quarters. Quarters haste vehicles. It does haste your vehicles. Switchblade. Switchblade's kind of interesting. Okay. Captain's quarters, Switchblade. Torpedo, max ammo to 1 was 2. Damage scaling slightly up. I was playing Torpedo last night. I really needed that second ammo a lot of the time. Feels a little bad. Not sure these number changes matter all that much here. Like, once you get +1 ammo skill, this doesn't matter at all, but the early stage of the game where you're just picking up Torpedo, this could be a big deal. Zor starts at silver, cooldown 6, haste duration to 2 seconds at all tiers. This might mean the Zor infinites are back with Poker Table. I was never able to get it to work well with the 7-second Zor, but maybe with it being 6 again, it's a thing. I kind of liked Zor as a bronze item. I liked Zor more when it was a good bronze item. It like let you flex between things. I guess I haven't missed it too much this patch, or this previous patch. But, like, it used to be you would even throw Zor on weapon boards, and it would enable some flexibility to like pivot to burn stuff. Now if I'm buying a Zor, it's usually just sitting on my bench. Zork still seems to be bronze in-game. The patch notes just lie to me? The patch notes did just lie to me. Wait. Wait, Zora's insane again. Wait, Zora's better than it was before. What is happening? This roller coaster of emotions. What the fuck? So at bronze, it hastes adjacent items for 2 seconds on a 6-second cooldown. That's nuts. Why not? I'm so confused. Why not just revert it to what it was before? Why are we buffing the item that we nerfed last month? Like, buffing it relative to what it was before it got nerfed. That's so baffling. I'm not complaining. Like, Zora, if there's going to be a best item on Vanessa, I think Zora is the item that I would like to be Vanessa's best item. Not that it, like, is, but it enables a bunch of builds. It lets you play really flexibly. It's just such a weird change. You adjusted the notes and you need to refresh. I appear to have needed to refresh. Well, I hope nothing else was wrong. Citrus plus regen skill. Yeah, sure. Same thing with land. Scythe cooldown to 7 from 11. Hands of Time now no longer targets tools with cooldowns, or tools with no cooldowns or a cooldown of 1. Sure. I think I have seen this item in play 0 times. This is the drop from the one fight that on a 7-second cooldown reduces the cooldown of a tool by 1 second. Hey, Mr. Bucket, thanks for the sub. Thanks for the 15 months. Welcome back. Advanced Synthetics, now dually only. Are we nerfing the dually only pool? We are nerfing the dually only pool. Feels bad. Alchemical Precision, removed unnecessary ammo check, which prevented it from working on items that gained the ammo tag. Oh, your potion's cooldown's reduced by 1 second. Oh, yeah, I heard this wasn't working with that. Sure. Bombs away, still only. When you use a vehicle or drone, burn. Hot air, still only the first time you burn. Some items fly. Equivalent exchange, corrected an issue where the triggers were not on the same internal cooldown. Sure. Expert pilot starts at bronze. Your vehicles just gain flat damage and shield instead of percentage. Pretty good change. This skill was very not okay. Focus Strike, renamed from Temporal Strike, Vanessa only. If you have only one weapon, its cooldown is reduced. No longer cares about things being slowed. Heavy Machinery, corrected an issue where it was not counting uses correctly. Is this the second time Heavy Machinery has been bugged? Or has it just been bugged for the last 8 months straight? Heat Shield attempted to fix an occasional issue where this would not trigger. Which one was this? When you burn with an item, shield equal to 1 or 2 times that item's burn. Huh. I didn't know this was bugged. Noisy Cricket. You have at least 7 items in play. Your weapons do... Wow! The numbers actually go up! Not by a lot, but better than 20 to 25. Searing Flame, one of your items gains haste. It gains burn. No longer has to already have haste. Whoa, that's nice. Really cool for Metronome. For when, like, you don't have the Metronome upgraded yet. Zora birthday gift. Yeah. It's a pretty nutty buff to Launchpad, too. Dually gets the skill, right? I'm not crazy. How did Launchpad not get any changes? Yeah. Oh, it is a dually exclusive skill. Huh. That's interesting. Another reason to spam the dually exclusive shop. Steel Storm, a little bit less crazy at the higher tiers, still nutty at silver. Streamlined weapon, when one of your weapons gains haste, it gains damage for the fight. Wait, so now this is just the bird skill? The bird skill was crazy. Huh. Interesting. Okay, and then real quick, there was a hotfix. Let's scroll up. Oh, matchmaking changes. You get to see the rank change matrix. Changing the way players are matched with opponents' ghosts in ranked and normal modes to create a smoother onboarding experience. Players will only be matched with ghosts of players of their rank or lower. This will be a smoother experience for new players as they work to get better at the game and find the rank they naturally level up to. The experience for higher rank players should not be changed, as they can still play against ghosts of any rank. Players will now gain and lose rank throughout the ranking process to help them to keep them in their proper rank for their current skill level. Okay, nothing else here changed. Then let's see, Ballista. I think we saw that in the notes already. It just wasn't properly implemented, I guess. Launch tower fixed a bug causing it to not make vehicles fly. Beta ray back to 7. Double whammy. Tooltip fixed. Thief no longer has a grindstone. Substituted for honing steel and grenade. That. Okay, the fight is still free, right? What's the tier of the grenade? It's not showing in Bazaar DB. I'd just be worried if it's a silver grenade and it can crit you. The fight might be scary. It's taking 200 from the grenade. Steel buffs the one arrow. Oh, okay, sure. So it is just completely free now. Prince Marianus no longer has slow and steady. Should make him a bit easier with the buff to eels. So there's no more damage scaling on the piranhas that crit you, but the eels is doing double damage. I don't know how to evaluate the difference there. Heat shield temporarily turned off due to a bug. Okay. Lava roller cooldown back. It's being done because the fix to the order of the effect resolution already buffed it quite a bit. What? Okay, destroy an adjacent item for the fight. Burn 2040. Oh, when you destroy an item, double this item's burn for the fight. Okay, so they basically doubled its output with the change. Yeah. Was that really too much? I guess depending on what you destroy. Yeah, if you destroy like propane tank, that's a lot of burn. Sure. 20-hour fitness, fix the shielded enchant to be when you use a shield item, so it doesn't go infinite with itself. It keeps happening. Sky Spirit Ashes, fix the bug with enchants. We're working on non-enchanted item use. Makeshift plate, fixed an issue where it was giving higher shield than intended. Okay. We have made our way through the patch notes. I think I want to play some Stell. Before we do, I'm going to take a quick break. Be back in like 2 minutes. When we get back, we'll explore the new patch. Hope you guys stick around.